Hello everybody, and welcome to the second Continental Crush Cup, and this is the first event of the Cup, Regional 1. If you're new to Continental Crush Cup, we are a Pokemon Showdown tournament, and in this iteration of it, we're going to be running 3 regional events, and then we're going to be running what's called a Worlds. It's, a callback to the official VGC formats. And basically, depending on how people perform within the regionals, which are Swiss League style, they will qualify for Worlds, and then whoever wins Worlds wins the entire thing. So, starting with Regional 1, our very first week, our very first match ever, featured Cyan versus Gromp. Unfortunately, I was not able to spectate this live, but I am going to be going over the team review as well as the recap, just to give you an insight of both the teams and how it went down. So, player 1 is Cyan. Now, both of these players are new to Continental Crush Cup. They did not participate in the first one, but they're already showing a lot of promise, and I'm excited to, just looking at their teams, I'm very excited to see what they decide to do. So, part of the rule set is that you are allowed a maximum of 2 legendaries or mythicals. Now, you can use 0, 1, or 2, but the maximum is 2. And as you can see here, Cyan decided to only use 1. He is using Diancie, mythical Pokemon, and every other Pokemon must be OU, doubles OU legal. So, if you're new to OU, it is a bit different than VGC, because whereas in VGC, you have to pick the 4 Pokemon that are coming, in doubles OU, you get to use all 6. So mainly what's important is picking the order. Your leads are very important, and we can see this with Cyan's team, because one thing I'm very interested to see is this combination of Whimsicott, Lucario, and Flamigo. So if you'll notice that his Whimsicott has Prankster, allowing its non-damaging status moves to have priority, and it has Trick Room, which is interesting. But it also has Room Service, which means it uses Prankster, it sets up Trick Room with priority, and then on the following turns, it will actually still have that priority because Room Service allows it to move first within Trick Room. I'm also very interested to see how this combos with Beat Up Lucario's Justified. So basically what Justified does is it gives the Pokemon with Justified an attack boost every time it's hit with a Dark-type move. So we know that Beat Up's a Dark-type move. It's not very strong, so whenever Whimsicott hits Lucario, it's going to get that attack boost without much risk. And I'm also very interested to see if Co-Star, if Flamigo gets sent out alongside Lucario, copies those attack boosts, Sam's going to have 2 really powerful Pokemon side by side. So I think Gromp's main goal in this game needs to be preventing that setup. And obviously, there's a lot of other dangers. Like, okay, we have 2 Fake Out Mons, so he has a very good synergy between the Sneasler, the Incineroar. He can switch in and out. Terra Ghost on Sneasler as well to protect from the opponent's Fake Out. And obviously, just like having that Diancie with Diamond Storm is very powerful. So, mainly just looking to see that from Cyan. Moving on to Gromp. Something you'll notice is that, unlike Cyan, he doesn't just have one mode. He also has Tailwind and multiple Trick Room setters. Not just one. He has Diancie, Trick Room setter, as well as Sinistcha, and Murkrow has Tailwind. And interestingly enough, Murkrow also has Quash. So that gives him a lot more flexibility in terms of what he wants to do. If he wants to use Tailwind, he has a lot of fast mons to take advantage of it. Moltres, Raging Bolt. However, if he wants to go the more slow route, perhaps he feels prepared to outspeed Cyan within his own Trick Room, he can use that against him, and he can even use Quash to ensure that his own Pokemon go last. So, just really powerful Pokemon on both sides. I'm very excited. I really think that the result is going to end up on who's able to take control of the Trick Room the best. And Considering that both teams have Trick Room, there's also the possibility reversing Trick Room, but then you also have to guess what speed your opponent is, which is kind of hard to decipher when there's not a lot of speed reliant abilities. Like, okay, Incineroar has Intimidate, but other than that, we don't see too many speed reliant abilities. So, just gonna be interested to see who is able to navigate the room or the Tailwind to their advantage. Gromp opens with Galarian Moltres and Murkrow, while Cyan sends out Whimsicott and Lucario. Murkrow taunts Whimsicott, preventing Trick Room, but Cyan doesn't go for it. Instead, he boosts Lucario's attack with Beat Up. Gromp uses this time to set up a nasty plot on Moltres. Whimsicott switches to Flamigo, copying Lucario's attack boost, while Moltres terastallizes to water in order to resist Lucario's Bullet Punch. Murkrow sets up Tailwind, giving Gromp the first significant speed advantage of the battle. Cyan KOs his own Lucario with Air Slash in order to give him a free switch into Diancie. On the next turn, Diancie terastallizes into a Dragon type. Murkrow taunts it, but Cyan didn't pick a status move, instead going for Diamond Storm. This KOs Moltres, but not before it KOs Flamigo with its own Air Slash. Both players replace their fainted Pokemon, Iron Hands for Gromp and Incineroar for Cyan. On the following turn, Murkrow also switches, this time into Raging Bolt. Diancie takes roughly half of Iron Hand's health with a Play Rough. The now Dragon Diancie takes super effective damage from Draco Meteor, and Iron Hands uses this time to set up a Swords Dance. Incineroar party shots into Sneasler, and Diancie repeats last turn, this time taking half of Raging Bolt's health. Raging Bolt switches into Sinistcha, replenishing Iron Hands' health. After several Dire Claw attempts, Sneasler finally poisons Sinistcha. Iron Hands KOs Diancie with Ice Punch, and Incineroar replaces it. Sinistcha protects Iron Hands with Rage Powder before finally going down to Dire Claw. Raging Bolt and Whimsicott come back in. Iron Hands KOs Sneasler with Ice Punch. Now, Cyan is down to just his last two Pokemon. Gromp closes out the game with Thunderbolt, Diamond Storm, and Ice Punch.